Hello, I'm here to show you guys today how to take two half spheres or two domes that I made on a hump mold and show you how you can use them. So I have my work area set up with a box tool, a wooden box tool, a needle tool, a little paddle here. I've got some slip that I made myself with bone dry clay. I've got a sponge, some plastic clay. I've got a leather hard platform that is sitting on my bat that I cut into a shape. And then I've got these leather hard pieces of clay here. So there's a ton of things that you guys could do with this. I'm sure you can start imagining them right away. You could score and slip and place one here, and it kind of looks like a sun or a weird egg. You could start flipping them up like this and building some kind of tower where you stack them up and up and up. You could make them smaller and get smaller and smaller and go up and up and up depending on how you make them. Can you guys visualize some different things you could do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Excellent. So if you wanted to just attach this here, because the clay is leather hard, it would be very easy to just move it into place. You would lightly trace the shape here. You'd score here, and you'd score and slip this into place. You would be running the risk, if you did that, in creating a small, kind of a bomb. But because it's such a big air pocket, it probably wouldn't explode, but what I would do would be to poke a hole in the base just to make sure that there was a little vent for the air to get out. What I want to show you guys how to do is how to put these together to actually make a sphere. This doesn't look like a sphere yet, but we'll get it there. That you could use for your house or a different kind of sculpture. Right now, I think it kind of looks like a macaroon. Okay. Raise your hand if you made a teapot last year. Okay. Can someone, or even if you didn't make a teapot, but can someone who made a teapot or not tell me how to do what I want to do here? I'm sure you can tell already what I'm thinking. How can I make a sphere out of these two forms?
Slip and score them together.
Yeah, you just slip and score them together. Okay. So I've already scored the edges here, and you can see I've scored the edges here. Okay. And I need to put them together. What's going to keep them from collapsing? They're leather hard. That's going to help. Yeah, I'm gonna put some support in here. So I'm gonna actually shove some dried newspaper in here, on this side, and then I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. And since I made my own slip, it's a really, really nice consistency. Why do you guys, as I'm slipping here, why do you guys think I'm working on the bat here instead of working on just on the table?
Because it could get stuck.
This could get stuck on the, so, sorry, to be clear, why am I working with this thing on this bat instead of this thing on the table? Because it could get stuck. That was one of my reasons. Yes? Why else? Can you guys think of other reasons? What's that? Yeah, that's another really big reason. If I try to move this kind of, sort of delicate piece of clay around, it could bend. Those little pointed, delicate pointed edges could break off. That would be bad. So that's the main reason that I'm keeping it there, is so that it won't bend or break. Okay, so I've got both parts scored and slipped, and then I'm just going to kind of shove them together. I'm being delicate but firm. There's going to be moments where they don't feel like they're going to fit, but because the clay has some malleability to it right now, I'm not too worried about it. So what I'm going to do is just squish together with my thumbs. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I go all the way around. And mine is not going to be perfect right now. If I were doing this for something that I was planning on keeping, this part of the process would take me a bit longer. I'm going to apply a little bit of gentle pressure around this edge right now as I'm holding it together, because I don't want the seam to break, which it's going to be trying to kind of do the whole time. Okay, so like that. It's going to try to pop apart like that, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take a reinforcement coil and I'm going to put it around this. So to make a reinforcement coil, I've got my plastic clay. This clay has already been wedged. And I'm just going to start by rolling it in my hands like that. Then I can roll it here on the table. When I roll coils, I make like long strokes with my hand. I don't go like this. If I get a flat spot in my coil, I just stop and pat it. But I'm not getting any right now, which is great. Okay, so now I've got this coil. And what I'm going to do is just, with pressure, squish it into the kind of dirty, slippy crease or seam that I have here. And what I'm hoping it'll do is help secure it. That's why it's called a reinforcement coil. It's going to reinforce the work that I'm doing.
Looks like a hamburger.
It does look like a hamburger, kind of. Okay, then I'm not going to add more slip, which is tempting. I'm actually going to just take this plastic clay and smooth it out like that so there's no seam anymore. And I would go all the way around like that. Other questions right now? What about now? Are you afraid I'm going to discipline you in the video? Okay, so I went all the way around. You guys see it?
Yep.
Okay. And now I'm not like super happy about this kind of wonky form. It does look kind of neat, but I have control over what I'm going to do with it now. I can paddle it with my hand, and I can kind of cup and change the way that my hand is. I can make my hand flat. I can curve my hand. But basically, what I want to do is get this into the form that I want it to be. Okay, are there questions right now? All right, what could I do with this now? Oh, yes, hello, Mandy.
How would you get the newspaper out? Would it just burn up in the kiln?
That's such a good question. You guys, how would I get the newspaper out? I just let it burn up in the kiln. You were right. I don't have to take it out.
That's cool.
It is cool. So then I could, do you guys see how I'm kind of getting a nice form?
Yes.
I could paddle this more. And paddling it, you guys, is actually really, really helpful. It can really change the form into exactly what you want it to be. I could then sponge it and make it a smooth texture. I could apply different textures to it. I could write words in it. I could press lace into it. There's all sorts of different things that you can do with this now that you have your form. Because the clay is wet enough to still work with, but it's dry enough to not fall apart. Okay, so then I could maybe score and slip this into place here. After I got it looking the way I really wanted it to, I'd have to take more time. I could score this and slip this into place here, which I don't really like the look of right now. It kind of looks awkward sitting on my little platform that I made. So that wouldn't be what I would do with this. But I would then figure out how to use it. Okay, you guys can be in the video.
Great. Andy?
I'm good.
I made my art.
Tell us about your art.
So I took
Art.
2 minutes. It's really easy. Subscribe.
Thank you.
Sure.